Doge. Welcome to Sports Talk with Kifue. I'm your host, Kifue Njabula Maslam. Well, I'm going to do a reaction to Liverpool losing 1-0 to Burnley. And they were home. No one in their right minds expected this. I expected a draw because Liverpool hadn't scored in 5 hours of football before this game. 5 hours of Premier League football. They hadn't scored for 5 hours of Premier League football before this, and they hadn't scored this year at all. So I wasn't expecting them to score anytime soon, and considering they didn't create a lot of chances against Man United, so wasn't really convinced with them winning anything. And Burnley hadn't scored in like 11 away games. That's also poor. We also have to acknowledge that 11 hours of away football and they score 0 goals. The last goal they scored was away to Newcastle. That was like October, 7 games ago. So both these teams aren't very good at scoring. So I was expecting a ball draw. And surprise, surprise, what do we get? We got Klopp getting his comeuppance. Karma got to Jurgen Klopp. You know why? Because he was busy talking about United get penalties they don't deserve, on and on. Bruh, look at your own team. Fix your own team first before you can talk about us. So what happened? So he continues on talking. And what happens when the match ends? Before just the match ends in 80-something minutes, Ashley Barnes gets a penalty he didn't deserve. Let's be honest, man. I'm no Liverpool fan. That wasn't a penalty, but Klopp is getting his comeuppance. Just shut up, focus on your team, and then they'll play better. What he was doing is you can always feel how a team is going to perform because of their manager. You see, with Sean Dyche, he's always not too up and not too down most of the time. So Klopp, now that he's feeling the pressure, he's a bit touchy, he's on the edge. You can feel something is wrong with him. And even the media can see that something is wrong with him. That's why they're even dedicating a camera to him the entire time. He can't control himself. He has to be more stable as a manager. But hey, bruh, he's getting his comeuppance. So I really don't care. If you didn't watch the match, let me. So what happened is Liverpool start off the game. They really didn't. They hardly created anything, to be honest, because the balls would usually just go to the sides, and then Trent would put in crosses. And I think Trent tried to put in 22 crosses, and only one cross went through or reached another person. So he lost possession now, I think, like 22 times. So that's just poor. Trent has been poor. And when Trent is poor, they can't do that whole cross and inshallah thing. They can't do cross and inshallah because it doesn't work. And teams have kind of figured them out because Liverpool would always get lucky. Something would just drop and then someone would just score. And now they got lucky with Ben Mee shanking a pass in this game. They got lucky with Ben Mee shanking a pass to his goalkeeper. What does Divock do? He goes and it hits the bar. And at that moment, that's when I realized, oh, they definitely drawing this. You see, when I was like, they drawing this, I wasn't confident. But then when he missed that, I was like, okay, I'm a bit confident now. And they go on and they lose. Okay, as the match goes on, Liverpool really, what I saw from the starting lineup as well is he had Oxlade Chamberlain in the beginning. I was like, they're going to take more shots from outside the box because that's really the only thing that Oxlade Chamberlain is good at doing. drawing people, because when you put Oxley Chamberlain in, now defenders have to be a bit worried that they have to get close to him. So when they get close to him, it opens up space. So at least you can start playing around the defense. That never happened because Burnley was so compact. And Burnley left Ashley Barnes around Thiago. And Thiago hasn't reached the levels that I thought he'd reach. Maybe he needs more game time, but he was also poor. He's been poor for I don't know how many games, but he's been poor. So we also so that's basically that's the entirety of their team, because Salah came on, didn't really make much of a difference. Firmino came on, didn't really make much of a difference. Mane was on from the beginning, and yeah, that was boring. So that match was Liverpool just dominated possession. They just really didn't do anything with the possession. It was just from side to side, and even when they got behind the lines, they just never looked like scoring. They haven't looked like scoring for over 5 hours of football. They really just haven't looked like scoring. So yeah, but the question is, are Liverpool still title challengers? Yes, they are. 6 points off the top. Any team could go on a losing streak, and they are still in this title champion race, title championship race. They're still in the race for the title, but it's getting a bit touchy, and their manager is getting a bit touchy. So this is going to be very, very interesting to watch. It's going to be very interesting because Klopp is basically a reflection of that team. How he's feeling tells us what's going on in that dressing room. They're a lot. They aren't very sure of themselves, and you saw Klopp trying a few new things for the first time in like 2 years. He hadn't tried anything, and I've always known that he's one or two key injuries away from a meltdown. Everyone's known that because they've never built depth. He's only relied on like 13 or 14 players. Everyone knew that if certain players break down, he's in shit. And he's been in shit. So, yeah, it was an okay match. And credit Burnley for actually keeping their shape, not giving too. They didn't give any chances away, hardly, except for me with that pass. The goalkeeper, Nick Pope, was excellent, grabbed everything from there because if you're gonna just pump balls into the middle of the box, well, Burnley have got one of the tallest. They are very tall. They are very rugged. They are willing to go to war. You just not. You hardly ever gonna score against Burnley using crosses. So especially into the box. So Liverpool just never seem to have they've never had the creativity. So because the creativity has always come from the sides. So now there's no creativity from the sides. There's no creativity in the middle of the park. They've never had a number 10. They need a number 10. That's a problem that's never been fixed. Liverpool are looking touchy. They have to dip into that transfer window. Thank you for watching, everybody, and please subscribe to the show. Comment down below what you think of the content, and yeah, interact with us. Interact with the videos. Tell me what are your thoughts on the game too. To this game, what are your thoughts on some of the things that I've said? And thank you for watching. Yeah, subscribe, like the video, and thank you. It's been a joy. Maybe, man, and I'll be back tomorrow.